Good morning, graduates! It is so wonderful to be here today to celebrate the Wharton Undergraduate Class of 2025. As we come together to celebrate your individual and collective successes, we also recognize this as a pivotal moment in your educational and professional journeys. But before we do any of that, let's not overlook the fact that many of you are sitting here today in large part because of the unwavering support of a multitude of people, many of whom join us today to celebrate you. So without further ado, let me welcome our guests. Welcome to the parents, partners, families, friends, and loved ones who have traveled to Philadelphia to share in the joy of this important achievement. Please give them a hand of applause. Welcome also to the many dedicated Wharton faculty and staff who are here today in support of these tremendous students. Please join me in thanking them. And lastly, a huge welcome to each and every one of you, the Wharton Undergraduate Class of 2025. Commencement is a time to reflect on what you've accomplished during your time at Wharton and to look ahead to all you are poised to achieve. At some schools, the beginning of one's academic journey marks a time for the dean to say, look to your left and look to your right. In 4 years, one of you will not be here. Well, that's not how we roll at Wharton. Once you are a part of the Wharton community, we expect you to succeed. And wow, have you ever, in large part because of your hard work and significant sacrifice. Knowing your ambitious natures, you may be tempted to hit fast forward on this moment in an effort to reach the next challenge and the inevitable string of accomplishments that await you. But I encourage you to settle in this moment just for a little while longer and let everything it signifies sink in. As beautiful as all this may be, my role today is not to try to convince you that the road ahead of you is an easy one. In fact, the road you just traversed was no piece of cake. As a result, you no doubt understand all too well that you are graduating into a world marked by profound challenges and unprecedented uncertainty. Sidebar, if you had unprecedented uncertainty on your graduation speech bingo card, feel free to go ahead and check that one off now. But in all seriousness, I know that instability can be incredibly unsettling for us all. And I can't perfectly predict what will happen in the financial and job markets over the months and years to come. No one can. But what I can predict is that whatever challenge awaits you, you are infinitely more prepared for what lies ahead of you than you probably know. How do I know that, you ask? Yeah, let's applaud that. So let's start by stating the obvious. You have just attained the most robust, most relevant, and most rigorous business education available anywhere in the world. You mastered how to think analytically, how to apply data-informed insights to problems, and how to thoughtfully consider the perspectives of classmates, professors, friends, and foils into your thinking to produce a holistic view of complex issues. And you did all of this while navigating an onslaught of global instability and a climate of heightened divisiveness. Yes, you have definitely learned a great many things to serve you well during times of uncertainty. But I'd like to focus on two critical skills you've also developed that should form the foundation necessary for you to navigate ambiguity with confidence. First, you learned how to recognize. You've just spent 4 years consuming and synthesizing a dizzying amount of knowledge. You are the information generation for good reason, and your ability to sort through and make sense of massive amounts of data is guaranteed to carry you far. But we also know there are downsides to cognitive overload and constant connectivity. There's a concept from the field of psychology that is highly relevant to the moment we find ourselves in today. It's called learned helplessness. And it was an idea discovered right here at the University of Pennsylvania by Dr. Martin Seligman, who now leads Penn's Positive Psychology Center. Learned helplessness occurs when an individual continuously faces a negative, uncontrollable situation and stops even trying to change their circumstances, even when they have the ability to do so. Sound familiar? If not, think of the friend or family member who tried to get fit by starting a new exercise routine, then convinced themselves that nothing works for me when they didn't see immediate results. This mindset tells us that nothing within our power can change our bad circumstances, so why even bother? In a world with grand challenges and seemingly insurmountable problems, it's easy to succumb to helplessness, learned or otherwise. But not for all of you, because that is not the Wharton way. Ask yourselves, what has ensured that generations of Wharton alumni become successful leaders, change makers, and entrepreneurs? It's not that they simply reacted to their circumstances or let others steer their course. Rather, it's because they chose to recognize their own possibilities in a sea of perplexity. You also have a choice to take agency over your attitude and actions. As you will undoubtedly face new and surprising hurdles in life, I implore you not to allow yourself to become paralyzed by the chaos happening around you. Instead, lean on your experience in recognizing the potential that others so often overlook. This doesn't mean only taking big bets or swinging for the fences, but it does mean continually challenging yourself to find opportunity in this ocean of noise and consistently, methodically, and intentionally draw your strength as you drive forward. Equally important to knowing how to recognize, Wharton graduates learn how to reflect. Reflection is a powerful leadership skill, which is why it's startling to learn it is also one of the most underutilized. As someone who has studied how organizations and leaders respond to crises, I can attest that you would be ill-prepared for future challenges if you do not first learn the lessons that each experience is offering to teach. This means constantly analyzing successes and failures, both yours and others, to ask difficult questions, but sometimes embrace even more difficult answers. Wharton students are no strangers to soliciting and giving feedback. Remember, it's a gift. You are well practiced in this process that, when done right, enables clarity and growth for all involved. As you strike out on this next journey and at every juncture where you're considering taking on a new opportunity, I encourage you to go beyond just passively listening to feedback. Dig deeper and find a way to really digest and then be open to putting those learnings into practice. I promise you, it will enable you to see the bigger picture. making you a more well-rounded teammate and a more impactful leader. Taken together, the skills of recognizing and reflecting have contributed something else to your repertoire. They helped to make you resilient. Over the course of my career, I've spent a lot of time speaking with leaders about how they navigated volatile environments. And one thing I found is that the most successful leaders share a common trait. They are resilient in the face of adversity. They don't hunker down and wait for a challenging period to pass so they can get back to normal. They actively mobilize their networks, knowledge, and resources to make strategic, positive adjustments amid their crucible moment. Resilience requires adaptability, and in that regard, the class of 2025 is more than prepared. Over the last 4 years, you've spent time shifting between quant-heavy and values-based subjects. You've juggled roles in team-based exercises and real-world simulations, and you've balanced coursework with co-curricular leadership, internships, and your own business ventures. This mental agility represents an invaluable mark of a truly resilient leader, and it can no doubt be found in each and every one of you. The world you're stepping into is hungry for leaders who recognize not just problems, but possibilities, who can build models and build trust, who can take decisive action, but also pause to reflect, who are willing to navigate every twist and turn with open eyes and a forward-thinking mindset. And you are those leaders. As you leave Wharton, I encourage you to look for opportunity where others see obstacles, and I challenge you to seek out new perspectives and continuously expand your capacity to learn. And I implore you to never lose sight of your ability to forge ahead, even when the chips are down. So on behalf of the entire Wharton School, congratulations to the class of 2025.